Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I hope you guys are doing fantastic out there. In this video today, we're going to take a look at a very neat offering from Vevor that I'm excited about. This is their 10 mil plastic sheeting. Now, I know some of you out there might be thinking, what are you doing with plastic sheeting? As you know, in survival, shelter is very, very important. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the sheeting, and I'm going to show you a simple emergency shelter that you can make with this. So here we're taking a look at the sheeting as it comes packaged from Vevor. This is 10 feet wide. And this roll is about 100 feet long. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up, cut this tape with my knife, and I'm very excited to show you this. I want to say thank you to Vevor for sending this plastic sheeting out for review. I think that it's going to make some fantastic emergency tarp style shelter setups. So we'll go ahead and open this box. As you can see, it comes packaged very nice from Vevor. And this is pretty heavy. It's like, I think 38 pounds is the weight of this stuff. Look at that. Beautiful sheet there. So here you can see some specifications of the plastic sheeting. And obviously we got the black. So the weight is 38.9 pounds. Again, like I mentioned, it's 10 feet by 100 feet. You can get it in white or black. And now the spool size, or the roll, is 2.8 feet long, or wide, I should say. And then again, 100 feet length. That is just wonderful. And that's all the information on that paper there. Let's go ahead and open it up. We'll just cut this blue tape here. Take a look at the end. We'll just unpack the end. So this is kind of like a little tube type bag, it looks like, that the plastic comes in. As you can see, it's on this nice roll. And here's a look at it. We have two sides. This is very nice. This is thick plastic. That is heavy duty. I like that it's white on one side and black on the other. So at this point, I'm going to measure out approximately 10 feet, and then we'll set up some sort of shelter. Now, I don't have a tape measure with me, so I'm just going to kind of guess and get somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 feet. So let me see here. I'm guessing, maybe my arm length will be 5.5, 6 feet maybe. So let's double that and see. Yes, something like that looks about right where my thumb is. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it right here with my Mora companion. And let's see how good of a cut I made. This is kind of fun. Cuts very easily with the Mora knife. And now I have my plastic that I can use to make my emergency shelter. I'll take the rest of the roll. Boy, that's heavy. If you want to lift weights and get your muscles big, this is a good way to do it. Look at them arms working. Oh, we can make some guns out of that. That's heavy. I'm going to put it back in the roll. So for the shelter setup today, I'm going to use one of my quick deploy ridge lines. I have a couple Prusiks with number 36 bank line. I have a toggle, and that's what I'll use as my ridge line. So I have the number 36 bank line loops here. I have a couple tent stakes, and some of you are probably wondering, how are you going to use this plastic to make a shelter when there's no grommets? So what I'll do is I'll take something round. It could be a piece of wood, it could be a stone, it could be a handful of dirt. And what I'll do is I'll take the plastic, let me get it in frame here, and I'll take the stone and I'll just put the stone through the plastic just like this. And from here, I'm just going to make a lark's head or a lark's foot around the stone, and this creates an external grommet that I can use as a tie-out point, and that's how I'm going to secure the corners to make my shelter. And these are going to be plenty secure for holding this thing up, and the cool thing about it is once I'm finished, I can easily remove the loop and the stone, and then the tarp is just back to its original configuration. I don't damage it, it doesn't hurt anything, and it's a very efficient way of using just straight 10 mil plastic for a shelter. So let's take a look at this. I can't believe how thick this stuff is. This stuff feels solid. I just want to see how big it is. You know, this could be used for lots of things. This could be used to put underneath a tent. Wow, that is really nice. Maybe you have an outdoor situation and you want to put up a pool. You can put this down underneath the pool outside in your yard. So let's take a look. We've got our quick deploy ridgeline set up. We've got our external grommets. Nice ridge line. There's another external grommet. I've got the corners staked out. Very basic. Another thing that you could do if you want to add a section in the middle that holds it up, you could put a ridge line right up the middle. So you could put a stake right here and then run it up to the ridge line. But this is perfect for an emergency shelter. In fact, you could probably make this even smaller, and you could get underneath here. I can feel the wind is really slowed down now that I'm under here. You can't feel the wind that much. If I'm worried about bugs coming in, I can take on the back side down there and cover it with some gravel or sand, and that'll keep the bugs at least from the backside coming in. But this is going to be perfect for a shelter. This plastic is strong. You can feel that it has strength to it. I've used drop cloths in some of my previous survival videos. One that comes to mind right off the top of my head is my 5-day solo survival experience. I used a 0.7 mil plastic, way thinner than this stuff, and that plastic held up for 5 days. So this being a 10 mil, it's a heck of a lot more durable. Look at the thickness of this stuff. I mean, you can't really tell in the video by just looking, but I'm here to tell you this plastic is thick. It's gonna hold up. I mean, obviously you don't want to pull on those external grommets too hard. If you do, it will rip out. Let's not forget that it is plastic. It's not, you know, rip stop or nothing like that. But to be able to set up an emergency shelter, so even if you bought a spool of that plastic sheeting and you cut out 10 10-foot sections, you'd have 10 by 10 emergency tarps for $100. So you're paying $10 a piece. Not a bad deal in my opinion. I think it's fantastic. The shelter is going to be adequate. It's going to do everything that you need and then some. All I would need to do at this point is to put down my ground pad and my sleeping bag, and then I have a nice place that I can lay in and get out of the elements, and this could actually save a person's life. So having some of this in your vehicle would be a good idea, or your bug out bag for that matter. So at the time that I filmed this video, the retail price of this plastic sheeting, and this stuff is heavy duty. Again, it's 10 foot wide by 100 feet, thick plastic sheeting roll, plastic drop cloth. So if you're painting a house or something like that, this is a good tarp material. The retail price right now is 99 bucks, and it's made out of polyethylene. You can also use this for covering your crawl spaces. You can use it for vapor barriers. It really is a multi-purpose kind of plastic. There are other options too. When you purchase this, you can get it in the black and white like you see here. You can get it in just black. You can get it in 10 mil. You can even get it in a 14 mil. So this stuff is superior durability and weather resistance. It is fantastic. It is a 0.25 millimeter heavy duty plastic. So it's going to last a long time. It's going to be tough. It'll resist a lot of mild wear and tear. It can withstand some harsh conditions to some extent, as long as it's not too terrible or too harsh. It can hold up against high wind to some extent, cold temperatures, and even extreme sunlight exposure. It can handle all of that. So this plastic has the potential to have a long lifespan. Now the roll that I have is, like I mentioned a few times, it's 10 feet by 100 feet. And in meters, that's 3.05 meters by 30.48 meters. You can use this for extensive indoor or outdoor applications too. In fact, you could use it as a vapor barrier. There's a wide range of applications for this. You can use it for weed control, like I mentioned, barrier protection, thermal insulation. You can use it for seepage resistance, entertainment setups. So if you have a screen outside, maybe you got a projection camera or something, you can use the white side of this for your screen. It's pretty cool. So it will serve well in both agricultural and construction settings. When I was sitting under there earlier, I noticed that it does an excellent job to block the sun. I was really impressed. You could use this to reduce weed growth in your garden. You could even use it to protect flowers or vegetables or other plants from invasive weeds. It was easy to use, easy to install. If you have a crawl space in your building, you can use it as a vapor barrier. Simple to cut. You saw how easy it was to cut. And it allows you to customize whatever size plastic that you need for your specific application. One more thing that I noticed about this material is it did not have an odor. Sometimes when you use plastic, it has a very foul odor to it. This plastic does not have that. You can't even hardly smell it. So not only is this plastic waterproofed and windproof, it's also frostproof, and it does provide UV protection. Some other uses that come to mind other than your construction work needs, you could use it to cover material. Maybe you have a firewood pile, you need to cover that. You could make a custom sized tarp to fit whatever application or however big your wood pile is. You could use it for DIY projects. Like I said, you can put it in your garden. You could even make a custom car or motorcycle cover using this plastic. It's a very durable material. It's going to hold up well. Now, we talked earlier about the dimensions of this when it's in a roll. It's 32.48 inches by 8.26 inches. And in millimeters, that's 210 millimeters. That would be the roll size by 825 millimeters. That would be the width of the roll. You could use this plastic to cover your greenhouse. Maybe you have a tear in your greenhouse or something. You could use this to cover that. You can use it if you are building a roof, like we're in the process of building this tiny house. If we were to use purlings before we put our metal down, we could put this right on top of the purlings and then put the metal down on top of that. You can use it for light blocking. So if you have a certain area of your house that you do not want the light to come in, you could use this almost like a curtain to block that light out. If you have a lawn outside and you have the kids, you could lay this down and make a water slide out of it with water balloons and stuff like that. There's just lots of applications that are good for this plastic. Okay, now that we got this took down, I was really impressed with the corners. So let's take a look at the corners where I did the grommets. There's no tears at all. So there's that corner. Let's take a look at this other corner. Right there. And I had stones in there. And again, no rips, no tears, nothing like that. When you do external grommets on plastic, that is sometimes hard on plastic, but this stuff held up very well. Let's look at the third corner. Right there. No issues at all. Worked like a champ. Very good. Now let's check the fourth corner. No problems. So any kind of suggestions that I could give you would be when you're going to do external grommets, use rounded stones so that you're not cutting into the plastic. This stuff held up very good. I give this stuff a big thumbs up. This is good plastic. So as I'm out here experimenting and building a shelter using this Vevor plastic sheeting, I noticed one thing that was really impressive to me. A lot of times when you build an emergency shelter based on a ridge line or a string, if your tarp is super heavy, your ridge line will bow down and it'll make it sit really low. And if you're going to be using a big heavy tarp like that, I'd suggest a ridge pole. But this plastic was light enough, even though it's strong and durable, that it did not bow my ridge line. So again, a big thumbs up for using it as a survival shelter. Well folks, that's all I have for you today on this video. Taking a look at this Vevor plastic sheeting, 10 mil thick, 0.25 millimeter. It's excellent plastic. If you're interested in this, I'll put a link in the description box down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some good, useful information out of it. Please feel free to leave comments down below if you have an idea for an application that you could use plastic like this for. Drop a comment, thumb up the video, and until next time, I hope you guys have a beautiful day. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now, everybody.